Hello and welcome back. This is Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Witholkus, and this is Pepper right here. Um, welcome to Saturday Morning Blast Off. It's where I take the genre news of the week, talk about anything, all of that, and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about as well. And yes, Pepper decided to jump up here at the last minute, and I don't know if she's going to belch or not, like she did last time, but she looks like she's going to. But that's what's going to happen. So, welcome everybody. Hopefully, everyone had a good Thanksgiving. And for those of you in the rest of the world that are not in the United States, just a good Thursday. So, yeah. And Morks, it looks like you're going to get that Titans, that Titans poster, since I think Sven is overseas. Yeah, she's already tired of this. So, I'm going to let her down there. Congratulations to Morks on that Titans poster. Just send me your oh, wait, I already have your address. That's right. So, yeah, that'll be going out to you. If I don't get any more tweets or any more posts on that, comments on video. So remember, nobody comment on the Titans video because that poster is going out to Morks. Oh God, that's always great when that happens, when it works out that way. Uh I thought you would wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a week. I am gonna wait the week, Stanley. But for right now, it looks like Morks is in the running because there's only 2 comments. That is probably my lowest rated Titans video right now. I mean, no one gives a shit about that show, really. Hey, Andrej Merrick, which I'm finding very funny that it's the lowest rated show that I've got right now. Uh, yeah. So yes, exactly. Thanks, Pen, for prompting me on that. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little like and subscribe button down there below. And if you want to know when I'm gonna be on live again next, you can hit the little bell down below there as well. You can go to the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also go to, because that's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on. You can go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at my schedule. I change it once a week. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page. And speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group page which you guys can post stuff on and talk amongst yourselves. Also, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet, but it will happen in the end of this year, beginning of next year. Hey, Mr. Roboto, how's it going? So let's go into some of the lesser news until some people come in. So Chuck Palahniuk, I can never pronounce his last name, the guy who wrote Fight Club. He also wrote a book called Survivor, and that book is being looked at as being made into a TV series. How you can make that book into a TV series, I have no idea. It's supposed to be about a guy who is the only survivor of an airplane crash, and he creates a almost a cult around him, is what the book is about. And this is supposedly going to be made into a TV series. I've read the book. The book is a little bit weird. Um, yeah, it's really weird. So, I don't know how they're gonna make it into a movie, quite honestly, or TV series. A movie, yes, I could see. I think they actually tried doing it with, what's his face? Now I'm blanking on his name. I could see his face, but, damn it. Um, he was in Moon. He was the only person in Moon, really, and now I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, um, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Marks, when trolling goes wrong. But at least you get the joy of looking at that Titans poster every single day for the rest of your life. So, Sam Rockwell, thank you, Stanley Tweedle. Yes. I thought they did a movie with Sam Rockwell on that, but maybe I'm wrong. Because I know he did one of Chuck's books as a movie, and I think that was the one he did. No, he did Choke, is what he did. He did Choke. I take that back. Choke was another weird book, and that movie crashed and burned from what I understand. I tried watching it, I just couldn't. I didn't really like that book that he did, Choke. It was weirder than normal. I'm still waiting for, Invisible Monsters to get made. I don't know how they're ever gonna make that one, but that one was his first book that he had ever written, and, it's a disturbing book. as is most of Chuck's writing, and that one is going to be interesting too. Yeah, I'm not going to even touch that one, Marks. Yes, we're not going to see Phanovich here because they're out doing the museum thing. They're out getting cultured instead of being here with the rest of us. You know, because that's I think I saw Choke. What was it about? It's about a guy who was getting attention by faking choking in a restaurant. Like he would choke on food or whatever, and then people would save him. And then, yeah, there was all kind of weirdness that kind of transpired with that. So, yeah, it was a very weird book and a very weird movie. Be nice to Fanobi. He's not here to defend him. Ah, well, screw it. It's his own fault for not being here. If he wanted to defend himself, he would have been here. So let's get into the big news. Why don't we? So there was a article that came out. So by the way, so the reason why I'm a little bit late too, before I get into the big news here, I was scraping the bottom of the news barrel to find some news for you guys, and that's it. You know, it's Thanksgiving week. There's not that much news that comes out, and so I had to dig for what I could get, quite honestly. So that's where I'm going with here. So word is that Michael B. Jordan has talked to the Warner Brothers executives, and supposedly, he is. They've been talking about doing a Superman movie with him as Superman. How do I feel about this? No, I like him as an actor, but I still don't see him as leading man material. I'm sorry, I really don't. It has nothing to do with color or anything like that. I just don't see him as leading man material. And that is yeah, it's really one of those things that I kind of look at and I'm like, can I see him actually leading a movie like this? No. Idris Elba, on the other hand, if you want to cast him as Superman, yes, he can actually lead a movie. If you're gonna go that route, is what I'm saying, and, yeah, he could actually do it. Michael B. Jordan, no, I just don't see it, quite honestly. So in the same article, they're talking about, they being the elusive they, Warner Brothers executives, talking about making R-rated DCEU movies because Joker supposedly has gotten a positive result, of course, because they've gotten over $1 billion now in revenue, and so they're talking about making comic book movies for adults. Uh, yeah, I can see that. I mean, this is a no-brainer, quite honestly. We saw this with Logan, we saw this with Deadpool, we saw this with Deadpool 2, we saw this with Blade back in the day. Rated R comic book movies do sell. Why? Because the comics actually sell. It's not that fucking difficult to understand. And your comic book, your average comic book viewer or reader right now is older. They are not kids, unfortunately. You're not getting kids coming in and reading comics anymore. Yes, you do get some because their parents have brought them into it, but not like when I was a kid, where you had 90% of your market was 8 to 15 years of age, but not now. I feel about Michael B. Jordan as Superman exactly the same way as I feel for the girl who played Starfire in Titans. She actually is doing good now, Marks. That first season was rough, and it was basically her costume that she had. Her costume really sucked. I liked her better in the second season than I did in the first. Yeah, he led Creed. I know, Mr. Roboto. I know he led Creed, but um, have you gone back and watched Creed since the first time you saw it? Neither did I. I liked Creed for what it was. I didn't see Creed 2. Yeah. So, it's just not something. I mean, he was in the worst Fantastic Four movie, the worst Fantastic Four rendition ever as Johnny Storm, and, yeah, I agree with you, Penn. Once they got rid of the streetwalker vibe from her, the clothing, I mean, They had to work hard to make her look like shit in Titans. They really did. So once they got rid of all of that and just went to her, natural she actually has straight hair. So, I mean, I don't know what they were doing. Yeah, it just yeah. Ah. If you think about it like that, I feel a Fortnite movie coming soon. I wouldn't be surprised, Stanley. I wouldn't be surprised there's a Fortnite movie. Uh, and right now, I wouldn't go see a live action Superman movie. Why is that, Morks? Why did you say? I even missed that. Oh, okay, because of that reason. Um, well, first of all, they need to get a good story. That's the whole thing. You need to get somebody who actually one likes comics, not a Snyder, because fuck Snyder and fuck the Snyder cut. I'm gonna say that right now. There is no Snyder cut out there. That was the other thing too that they talked about in this article is that there is going to be no Snyder cut release on HBO Max because there is no Snyder cut. Uh, he was three-quarters of the way through the movie, filming the movie. He hadn't put anything together when his daughter committed suicide. All right. So he was off the picture at that point because he had a family tragedy that happened. He did not edit any of the movie together. He had bits and pieces of the movie, which Joss Whedon came in, filmed the last 25% of, and tied it all together with special effects and whatnot and editing. There you go. There is nothing that Snyder has cut. Yes, he's being cheeky about it out on Twitter and stuff like that, saying that there is a cut out there, which is bullshit. Unless he's been doing this on his off time with his own money and putting in the special effects, it's not there. So for everyone who keeps crying about the Snyder cut, it's fucking not there. And just stop with it. It's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Unless he puts an animatic together, then yes, there's probably an animatic out there that he did, which those of you who know what an animatic is, it's basically a storyboard that's cut together to show you how the action in the movie is supposed to flow. So yeah. Um I don't want to see a Snyder cut. I don't care about a Snyder cut. The first movie was dog shit anyway. I don't want to see the rest of it. Like I said, he filmed 75% of that movie. It was shitty. No, you didn't hit a nerve, HR. It's just one of those things I'm tired of hearing about. I'm tired of hearing about the Snyder cut out there. It's the same thing I'm tired about hearing about how Brie Larson sucks as Captain Marvel, or Ray is Mary Sue or an SJW or whatever fucking label of the week you want to use. Because quite honestly, fucking stop. No one wants to hear about it anymore. I mean, Jesus Christ. Fucking, pull the stick all the way out of your ass. I mean, it's 9 feet up there. Just pull the fucking thing out and have a little bit of joy about something. If something, if you don't like something, move the fuck on. Go to something that you do like. Talk about that for a while. I mean, Jesus Christ. There's so much fucking negativity out there right now, especially on YouTube and I know it gets clicks and stuff like that, but fuck it. I mean, I'm not really liking Watchmen all that much, okay? But I'm even finding some good stuff to talk about it in my reviews. Yes, people still are bagging on me about not really liking it and everything, but I'm not going to like everything you like, quite honestly. If we liked everything, if we all liked the same things, we would get the same bland material coming across all the time. We would not try. And we would not try different things. That's the whole thing of all of this. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why you watch a lot of other videos. Exactly, HR. I mean, I know people aren't just watching me exclusively. So yeah, and I know we're gonna get a whole bunch of dislikes. I don't care, quite honestly, Stanley. I don't live for the likes and dislikes, quite honestly. So, unlike other channels do, I know. I mean, come on, if you want to stick your tongue up somebody's ass in order to get a like, go for it. I mean, I'm not going to do it because, frankly, I have better taste than that. That's all I'm going to say. Some people complained about the latest Mando episode being woke. No, it wasn't. It was oh my god. It wasn't woke. Um, man, I can't believe that someone actually says that the latest Mando episode was woke. God. Yeah, exactly. Everyone has a right to have their own opinion about things. It's not the right to be wrong. It's everyone likes different things, quite honestly. I used to get shit about liking back in the day when it first came out, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane or Hudson Hawk. Those were the two of the most maligned movies in the 90s when it came out. And I liked both of them because I saw what the story was. There were actually some good stories in it. It's just that people didn't like who was in it at the time. And people are going back now, what is it, 20, almost 30 years later, looking at these movies, and they're going, actually, these movies were pretty good. And I'm like, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Um, I was surprised that people are bad mouthing The Mandalorian, even the baby. How can you not like I know. How can you not like Baby Yoda? I mean, come on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People are saying Mando, yeah, Mando is copying other stories. It's following Western tradition. It's following the samurai, the lone samurai tradition. It's honestly, it's another one in the Western or the lone samurai genre is really what it is, but with lasers and ray guns and space hopping. That's what it is. So man, people need to fucking like I said, you need to find, something that gives you joy or fucking get off the internet, something like that. Get outside, talk to people, you know? Because just talking to yourself, via computer here and talking to other people through a camera isn't gonna cut it, quite honestly. I love Ishtar, it's a great movie. I still can't watch that movie to this day, EJ. I saw it once and I never wanna go back to it ever again. That was just a bad movie all the way around. That you love it is awesome, but I can't watch it. I just really can't. Ah, feels like a video The Mandalorian feels like video camera. This time it was Warcraft, but it's, not that bad a thing, I think. Yeah, exactly, Mark Mash, it's gonna be different things to different people. Hey, Kato Roan. Good evening from Europe. Yeah, a video game. Yeah, I got what you were talking about. Yeah. I know it's lost in the translation there, Mark. I know it happens sometimes. I kinda got what you're going for. So, uh, no, it's not. If you're a magician, you'd appreciate a musician, you'd appreciate appreciate it more. A magician? Where the fuck did I get a magician from? I must have just pulled that out of my ass. But bum there we go. That's all right, Mark. It does happen. Autocorrect is a bitch. I know that. Excuse me. So one of the other things they're talking about too is, of course, this Green Lantern Corps TV show that's coming to HBO Max, and how that is going to be, of course, probably R rated as well, since it is coming to HBO Max. And I'm okay with that. I mean, not everything needs to be fucking R rated, tell you the truth. When it comes to this, I'm uh, I'm actually enjoying the animated Harley Quinn. Granted, it's one episode in, but I actually do like this animated Harley Quinn, which is an R-rated take on Harley. But at the same time, you're dealing with people that are psychopathic murderers, really, and they kill people in horrible ways. And DC, for the most part, has kept it kind of clean up until now. And that's what they're showing here is kind of a dirtier version, almost a realistic version of what it would be like, albeit with a lot of dark humor in it. Uh, so yeah, it's working pretty well, I think. R-rated Green Lantern is not necessary in space. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't have to be. So his voice cracking. Yeah, exactly. Kato, I agree with you that his voice cracking during that one point when he's thinking about staying and what kind of life he kind of deserves after all the shit that he's gone through in his life. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. And quite honestly, it's it's John Favreau. I like pretty much everything John Favreau's done, even Made. A lot of people don't like the movie Made that he did with Vince Vaughn, and that is actually it's got one of my favorite lines in it. It's Vince Vaughn talking to Peter Falk at one point, and he goes, "Why don't you like me?" And Peter Falk says, "'Cause you lost my fucking carpet cleaning van, and I don't like you, you cocksucker." And the way he delivers the line, I am on the floor each and every time that he says it. And the movie is so wrong in so many ways, but it makes me laugh. It's an awkward movie. It's a very awkward movie, and that's what he was kind of experimenting with to see how awkward he could get. And I like it, and a lot of people don't like that movie. I have it on DVD someplace back here too. R-rated for Green Lantern means space alien titties? Probably. Oh, yeah, by the way, I saw the trailer for next week's, Harley Quinn. And the more I see of Alan Tudyk playing the Joker, voicing the Joker, I wanna see him as a live action Joker now. Because at one point, he's got Harley, she's going to the table at, the Legion of Doom party, and, Joker comes by and goes, excuse me, but the crazy bitch table is over there." And just the way he says it, I was just going, "Fuck, I really wanna see the Joker play this now. I wanna see Alan Tudyk as Joker." Hey, Move Fanobi. We were just talking shit about you earlier, so, you can leave now. Yeah, we're gonna wait till he leaves now. Just everyone be quiet. He might leave on his own. Okay, we're good. Uh, so Michael B. Jordan as Superman, no. Mainly because I don't think he can carry the movie. And, yeah, just not, really keen on that. So, Colin Trevorrow, who was originally supposed to, direct, Rise of Skywalker, episode 9, before he got fired from it, and yes, he did get fired from it. He wrote the script. He wrote the majority of the script until, Abrams, stepped in and threw in, the Emperor Palpatine shit and whatnot. So, Trevor is gonna be getting money from Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, but he says he's going to donate his residuals to Alexander Devine's Children's Hospice, is what he's gonna do. So, he's taking no money off of this. He's actually gonna be sending it out, all his residuals, to a children's hospice, which I'm like, that's actually fucking magnanimous of somebody doing that. And he just pretty much, I think he's kind of written off episode 9 before it's even come out because he doesn't want anything to do with it at this point. And I'm kind of I'm kind of okay with that, to tell you the truth. I'm really not looking forward to Rise of the Skywalker. I'm gonna see it eventually, yes. Am I gonna see it opening weekend? Probably not. But I might see it the weekend after or something like that when it's died down and pretty much Hysteria Peak has reached its high tide there, and then it's gonna come down. Because yeah, it comes out the same day The Expanse is released. There's like 15 things that are coming out December 13th. 'Cause do you remember back when someone announced that a Star Wars movie was coming out? The rest of the movies and TV shows would stay clear of that thing for 2 weeks and, afterwards. Now everyone's going, "Fuck you." Episode 9 by J.J. Abrams, that thing's gonna be a piece of shit. We're gonna schedule our TV show and our movie in the same time, same day. We don't care because that's how much little faith they have in this movie. Kato Roan says Hamill told someone jokingly to watch episode 9 on cable instead of saying it's a must see in cinema. Nice. I'm pretty sure it wasn't jokingly, Kato. He's not getting any money off of it. Well, I mean, he's getting money off of it, but he's not getting any like residuals or anything. They can introduce a gray Jedi wand to other people, but they won't. Uh, huh? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, I follow Mark Hamill, but I don't read everything he tweets out. Yeah. So speaking of Disney and Star Wars and all that stuff, so Disney actually did something kind of cool. They let a dying fan see Rise of Skywalker with his young son before it was too late. Pretty much, they were saying that he probably was not going to survive until December 20th for the release date, or December 13th, the release date of Rise of Skywalker. And they were asking if there was any way that Disney could actually let him see it with his young son before he passed away. And they did. They let him do that. And that's kind of a real life fanboys, is what that is. If you've never seen the movie Fanboys, I definitely suggest you go and watch it. Fanboys is a great movie. Young Kristen Bell's there's a lot of young people that are now established actors that are in that movie. Oh, well, my first thought, EJ, my first dark thought was, man, what if he died right afterwards? And that's the last movie that he saw, and it was like a really shitty movie. And it's one of those jokes that's in Fanboys as well. They're like, what if it sucks? And because they're gonna go see episode one. They're sneaking in to get their terminally ill friend to see. They're trying to sneak him onto Lucas Ranch to get a copy of episode one so they can view it before their friend dies, is what it is. And he ends up getting to see it by himself. And this movie's been out for over 10 years. So if you're saying spoilers, oh my God, fuck you. You've already had more than enough chance to see it. So at the very end, they're standing in line. Their friends that, are still alive to go and see it. And before they go in, the very last line is, what if it sucks? And I just started laughing. Yes, it's the one with Kristen Bell. Yeah. Yeah, they really should make a sequel to Fanboys. They missed their mark, quite honestly. They should have done one, for the latest trilogy is really what they should have done it. I'm not gonna, it's 10 years, Mr. Roboto. If you haven't seen it within 10 years, basically, uh, the spoiler alert uh, heading is null and void a year after the movie's been out. If you haven't seen it after a year, fuck you. You haven't seen it. I'm gonna spoil it anyway. Uh, oh yeah, and by the way, at the end of the Sixth Sense, the guy is dead. He's actually a ghost. There you go. Yeah. And in Titanic, the old woman throws her. She's got the jewel, and she throws it overboard because that's what she is. Oh my god. You know they can make one called Man Babies. There's always the original. Yeah, there is the original spoiler alert right over here too. So I just leave that up there because for nostalgia's sake. That took me all of like 5 minutes to make. I know, 5 whole minutes. It was amazing. I couldn't get the printer to print right. That was the whole thing. And then there was the glue stick that was involved and all that. So everyone knows that a German U-boat took out the Titanic in 1917. Really? Did Germans actually have U-boats in 1917? I thought that wasn't until later. Yeah. All right. What else we have here? So Daniel Craig has said that No Time to Die is his last James Bond movie. We kind of figured that. I mean, dude, you broke your ankle where you had to have surgery, which delayed filming for what was it, 6 weeks. Uh, you had a whole host of stuff, bad stuff that was happening on the set of this movie. I kind of figured this was going to be his last movie, quite honestly. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that, quite honestly. It's I love Daniel Craig as James Bond, and Bond is a temporary role. Exactly. It's something that you're not going to do forever unless you're Roger Moore. Um, but it's something that you start off with. You make a big name for yourself, then you go on and do other stuff. And yeah, I don't wanna see a female James Bond, I'm sorry. Yes, I know there is a female James Bond in this one. She has well, not a James Bond, she takes on the 007 title briefly, and yeah, so yes, there we go. Sure, blame it on the Germans. Yeah, the Germans were undergoing, economic hardship at that point. They couldn't afford a can of beans, let alone a U-boat. Actually, I take that back, they were in the middle of World War One. That's what they were in the middle of. Well, yeah, she of course, it's because Bond is already they think he's dead and all that stuff, but yeah, whatever. They have replaced every male leading role with a female. I smell an agenda. No, it's not. Good God, low key. No, there's no agendas. I mean, good God, everything has to be an agenda with people now, or a conspiracy, or a movement, or something like that. I had a movement earlier this morning, but you don't see me tweeting about it. Yeah, start a petition. Exactly. See how far it gets you. Start another petition that you want a dog as James Bond, or you want an elephant as James Bond, or uh, you want this pen to be James Bond. There you go. Wilford Brimley as James Bond. There we go. I'm tired of people just being outraged at shit. I have been tired about it for a while now. When do people actually get excited about shit? I mean, Baby Yoda was the last thing I saw people get excited about shit, and even that's coming around now with a backlash because Disney hasn't gotten their merchandising out on time. Yeah, they put out some T-shirts and some mugs, but no plushies or anything like that. And so people are like, "Damn you! You didn't get my toy out in time." I mean, fuck people. Have some fucking joy in life for once. Do something that makes you happy. You know, Target has a Baby Yoda. It's not cute. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I oh, good lord, whatever, Loki. Yeah. If you want that kinda talk, if you wanna do political talk, there's other channels for that. I'm not gonna talk politics, quite honestly, and, it's boring. It really is. It's fucking boring. So, yeah, The Expanse, Witcher, orgasms. Thanks, Stanley. Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. Um Oh, yeah. Mystery Science Theater 3000 has been canceled at Netflix after 2 seasons. I don't know, is this a record now for, how many different networks the show has been canceled on? I mean, I think this is what, it's like 5th cancellation now from a network, because it was by itself at once, then it was over at, Comedy Central, then it was at, something else that it got canceled on, then it was by itself again, then it got canceled again, now it was on Netflix, that's 5. I think that's 5 different places that it's been canceled. I think that might be a record now at this point, you know? So, yeah, I'm fairly sure that it's actually, granted, I didn't watch this latest iteration of it. I'm not a fan of it, if it doesn't have Joel Hodgson in it, and I know he's not gonna go back before the camera anytime soon. He does not like, publicity, he doesn't like, I'm fairly sure he's got some kind of, phobia of being in public kinda thing and all of that. So we're not gonna see him do that again. So Joel Hodgson used to do a lot of stand-up comedy back in the 80s and 90s, if I remember correctly. And he was always very uncomfortable doing it. You could see he was uncomfortable, and that was actually part of the joke and was kind of funny about it. So having him do what he did for Mystery Science Theater 3000 was kind of amazing. And then we got, the guy after him. I can't remember his name. And everyone liked him. And I was like, no. I don't like this guy." And Joel Hodgson had nothing to do with it, and then he came back again, and Mystery Science Theater is canceled because of lack of marketing and politics at current. Um, I don't think it's that. I think just people aren't interested in it anymore. It had its own place in time, and yeah, I don't think he expected it to become as popular as it did either, Penn, and that kinda scared him. It really did. No, he was actually part of this new, one EJAR. I know they did sue him at one point because they were trying to take it away from him, and he was like, "No, no, no, no. I created this. This is mine." And that's why he ended up making the deal with Netflix on that one because he had won, they were trying to do the whole Rift Tracks thing. It was the guys who were doing Rift Tracks that were trying to take it from him, and he didn't wanna do that. So Rift Tracks is actually pretty much Mystery Science Theater 3000, but, with just a whole bunch of different, comedians coming in, and a lot of them had to do with the second iteration of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yeah, it's popular with stoners here too, Kato. It was very popular with stoners. I remember many a late night watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. So when do I do a Netflix pitch for what, Mr. Roboto? I got nothing. Yeah, I love the first one with him too. The second guy, Mike, I didn't like at all. Yeah, I didn't like Mike either. The old ones are just fucking funny. They really are. It's the second one. I mean, they brought in Felicia Day in the latest one, and I'm not really a big fan of Felicia Day. I know some people are, but yeah. Thanks, Nillis. Have a good weekend, Nillis. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't funny. So he was part of the whole Rift Tracks crew, Mike, was, and, yeah, I just don't like him. I heard Netflix will buy anything you make up. Yeah, I know, really. They probably would. Yeah. So what else we got? Oh, yeah. So I told you guys last week, I was at Disneyland, last week, and, supposedly Disneyland or Disney World, I can't remember which one it is creating an X-Wing. Actually, let me take a look at the link real quick and see which one it was, because I can't remember which one it is. If it was Disneyland or Disney World. Excuse me. So, there we go. It's Disney World Hollywood Studios. There we go. So it's Disneyland. Disneyland is working on, excuse me, a drone the size of an SUV that looks like an X-Wing to fly over Galaxy's Edge. Now, it's going to be a one-time event that the public's not going to see, but it's supposed to basically promote Galaxy's Edge, and it's supposed to happen sometime in December. And most likely, it's promoting the new ride that's opening up on January 17th. This is the Rise of Resistance ride that's opening up. So that is what's going on. They're going to be doing that. Oh, good God. So low key. So what happens now is when you start ranting and raving, I basically put you in timeout. And that means I don't hear any of your messages. I will take you off a timeout after the podcast is over with. But since you made me have to lose my place and pay attention to you, I'm putting you on timeout. Why? Because it's my channel. I do what I want. So there we go. So going back to what I was talking about before I was rudely interrupted. So yes, Disneyland is creating X-wing drones the size of cars to fly over Galaxy's Edge. And they are, like I said, they're probably doing this to promote Rise of the Resistance, but it's gonna be a one-time thing. That's it. That they're spending this much money in order to do that is kind of ridiculous, you know? Uh no, it's not like a hockey timeout, Mr. Roboto. It's a timeout. Will that be kind of like when they turned the spaceship Earth globe into a Death Star one time? Yeah, probably. I'm fairly sure that's what it's gonna be. It's a one-time only thing to promote. Rise of the Resistance, and then they're done with it, which is kind of ridiculous that they are, creating these things that size. I mean, someone can ride in these things. I'm sure they're gonna have someone ride in them, of course. Well, that's just crazy. It really is. I'm wondering if they use I know in Dubai, the cops are riding these, large for lack of a better term, they're riding large drones for cops in, Dubai, and, yeah, they literally fly. I'm wondering if they're using that as the base model on it. Why isn't there a Death Star ride in Disneyland? Because they are focusing on the latest trilogy, which doesn't have a Death Star in it, Mr. Roboto, to answer your question. They don't have stormtroopers, they have duck troopers. Yeah. Are they really flying? They're flying drones that are the size of a car, Pen, that's what they're saying. Actually, they said the size of an SUV, so a little bit bigger than a car, size of an SUV. Yeah, the iPhone troopers. Yeah. Yeah, if you actually look at them, they look like ducks. They look exactly like ducks. They're the new model stormtrooper, I guess you could say. If you paint that bill yellow, you can't unsee it. It just looks like a duck afterwards. There was something similar in Logan's Run when they cleaned up the Sandman kills. Huh? Didn't they say there was a Death Star in space in the first revival? No. They had Starkiller Base, which was an entire planet, which was essentially Death Star 3. Yeah. Well, supposedly the game Jedi Fallen Order is the prequel to Starkiller Base being built. So that planet that you're on, or initially, is what Starkiller Base becomes. Or that planet becomes Starkiller Base, I should say. Drone with a person on it that sprayed acid. I don't remember that, EJAR, but it's been a while since I've seen Logan's Run. All the latest successful Star Wars have used the classic troopers, Rebels, Fallen Order, Mandalorian. Yeah, they have. Exactly, Stanley. This whole First Order thing, no one cares about the First Order. They really don't. I mean, I kind of liken it to what I saw at Disneyland when the First Order troops come out. People pull out their cameras, like take a couple of pictures, and then they're done, and that's it. No one asked for a duck trooper exactly. Oh man. So Walking Dead has a third series that's coming out on AMC, and they finally released what the title of it is. It's Walking Dead World Beyond. Um, it's supposed to be set 10 years after the apocalypse has started, and they've already cast Julia Ormond in one of the leads. Julia Ormond used to do a lot of really uh, good movies and things like that. How she has fallen to doing a TV show about zombies, and not even the main uh, TV show, but a third iteration of it, is beyond me. I guess she needed the work, but uh, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be interesting, Kato. I really don't. Yeah, keep milking that cash cow, exactly. Uh, uh, yeah, anything like the old Walking Dead. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much most of the same. Yeah, exactly, EJAR. She was once an A-list actress. Exactly. That's why I'm kinda wondering what happened to make her take this role. Um, 'Cause it's not like she's forgotten in Hollywood. I'm pretty sure she could have gotten a movie someplace along the line, if she needed the money, but damn. Will it have Daryl Dixon? Probably not. 10 years down the road, man. If it's rebuilding society and technology with less focus on the actual zombies, I doubt it, Kato. Yeah. I kinda liken this to the, whatever those creatures are that Luke was milking in the last, Jedi. That's pretty much what the Walking Dead trilogy or Walking Dead franchise has become. It's become one of those fat cow things that's just sitting there and people walking up to it and just milking it for what it's worth. Uh, like the Doctor Stone anime. Hmm, yeah. Yeah, I agree with Penn. I think you're a little overly optimistic about it, Kato. Probably that remake of Sabrina killed her career. That was a bad movie. It was. It really was. I am Saya, so like a slurp queen? Possibly. Yeah. This is AMC after all, Kato. They don't really go for anything that's actually good. They go for what's gonna make them money. Yeah. They forgot about doing good stuff a while back. How is a Green Hornet? Oh my god. Alright, let's see what else I got here. I thought this was kinda interesting. So Channing Tatum, his production company, along with a couple other production companies, are working on bringing a live action version of the Max, the old comic and the old cartoon, the Max to life. No word on yet if it's gonna be a movie or a TV series. Now you're probably looking at me and going, "What the fuck is the Max, Dennis?" So the Max was a Image comic back in the day, back in the 90s, about it took place in two different worlds. In one world, it was a homeless guy and a waitress. And in the alternate universe, he was a superhero and she was a jungle queen, if you will. And he was always protecting her. So he protects her in both worlds, but it's unclear as to whether or not he's hallucinating the other world or is it a real world. Live action, Stanley, is what they're talking about. Live action on this. So yes, on MTV. It was on MTV, the animated series. And it was very weird. It was a very weird title. Um, you never knew when it was jumping back and forth between the two different worlds, and people really liked it. I never really got into it. I tried to, but I couldn't. I really couldn't. Um, I don't know how well they're going to be able to do this. If you see the main character in his superhero form, which is actually in the thumbnail, he's the purple guy that's sitting off on the side with the big weird teeth kind of thing looking. I just don't know how they're going to do that live action unless they're going to go CGI on it. So yeah, it would be kind of interesting. Yeah, the mask would be very hard to do. I agree with you. I cannot imagine this to be true to the original. Who knows, Stanley? If they do the TV series, yes. If they do it as a movie, no. I don't see how you can do a movie out of this, to tell you the truth. I mean, the movie would be like 4 hours long in order to actually kind of convey anything, through it at this point. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I can see it more as a series, but not as a movie. But who knows? I mean, I guess Channing Tatum has kind of given up on the whole Gambit thing since the House of Mouse has bought has bought Fox. So he's been attached to do Gambit now for like 10 years. And I think he's done with that finally and just moving on. Yeah, I remember watching it too, Penn, back in the day, late at night, and I don't remember any of it at all. No, they didn't do a Gambit standalone movie, Mr. Roboto. They had Gambit in a movie, but they did not do a standalone movie, which is what he was working on. He wanted to be Gambit. Yeah. Oh, you just watch a recap of that today, the Max. Probably the reason why is because this news just came out like a couple of days ago. So that's probably why someone did a recap on it. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Let's see. What else do I got here? Actually, let me see where I'm running on time. Not too bad. Uh, um, this one was kind of weird. So, Universal Studios has hired Elizabeth Banks to direct and star in The Invisible Woman. I guess they didn't see what the audience was for her last directorial movie, Charlie's Angels, was because the crowd was invisible for that one too. And I think that movie's made what, like $15, something like that. And I just heard it's a bad movie, is what I've heard. Yeah. They might have made a mistake. I'm pretty sure they made a mistake there, Sven. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear that this movie is not going anywhere. What are they trying to kill off? They don't have a franchise for this EJAR, not yet. They're trying to they're trying to revive the whole dark universe thing again. I laugh out loud. Just yesterday, I watched a recap of Charlie's Angels. What, the old series or the movie? Oh, you watched about the movie. Okay, yeah. So the early 2000 movies with Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu and God, I can't remember her name now. Those two movies were not bad for what they were. They didn't take it seriously. They had some fun with it, and good God, Bill Murray in that first one, in the first movie, where he rips into Lucy Liu. There is, I believe there's audio, there might be some video of it too, where he rips into her about being a horrible actress, about how bad of an actress she is. And I mean, he just rips into her. And I was like, wow. And that's the reason why he's not number two, by the way. Um, because he just could not stand Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz too, from what I understand. Yeah, Charlie's Angels, the first two movies, it was all about stars, the star power than anything else. I mean, come on, Bernie Mac in the second one. How's one of the best lines too is when Debbie Moore's character and the other angels are flying down out of the sky. He goes, "It's raining white women," and I don't know why. Every time I see that, because it's been on cable a little bit too, I start laughing just because it's true. It was raining white women at that point. Those movies didn't take themselves too serious either, which was good. Exactly. I mean, they had a plot loosely to them, but it was the plot was secondary to all the shit that was the shenanigans that were happening on screen. And yes, I agree with you, HR. They were good for what they were. I think this one tried taking it a little too seriously, and that's why it crashed and burned. And yes, there's also not any recognizable faces other than Twilight Girl. Which that's I'm sorry, that's what she is to me. Is she's the girl from Twilight. I heard she was actually good in it. That she was the only bright spot out of the entire movie, which is like, wow, that's pretty bad. Blank slate girl. Yeah. The other two I did not know. Kristen Stewart, thank you. Yeah, Kristen Stewart, from what I heard, was the best thing about the entire, and she was the only recognizable name other than uh, Elizabeth Banks and Patrick Stewart. And Patrick Stewart, from what I understand, was only in it for a blink and you miss it kind of thing. And same thing with Elizabeth Banks. Yeah. She's a serious actress. Yeah, okay, whatever. EJAR. Yeah. Yeah, the Aladdin princess. Yeah, the other two, I have no fucking clue as to who they are. But then again, it could just be I'm too old and I don't follow Teen Beat magazine or whatever it is online now. Um, so yeah, I don't know who they are. And quite honestly, I didn't care. Yeah. Oh, she was the Aladdin princess again. The live action one. Is that what it was? Yeah. Again, didn't see it, didn't want to, you know. Yeah. Penn says I hated the Bella character, so it shaded my feelings on Kristen Stewart, and she's done nothing to redeem herself. Yeah, she was in Jumper as well, the really bad. It wasn't horrible bad, but it was bad. She plays his sister at the very end of the movie. She has a cameo. It's not even a cameo. I think it was like one of her first roles where she opens up the door and goes, and she basically calls for mom. That's it. Yes, my Tiger Beat subscription has lapsed. Yes, HR. I was wondering who was going to catch that one when I popped that out there. But my Teen Beat subscription is up to date. So there you go. Uh, for those of you out there wondering what the fuck we're talking about, these were back in the 80s and the 90s. These were magazines that teen girls used to read quite a bit. And yeah, uh, there you go. Jumper was okay. I didn't like that she slept with the Snow White director and then came out as an alphabet. As an alphabet? What's an alphabet? I like Impulse on YouTube Premium. It's a Jumper sequel or prequel. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I had heard about that, but I wasn't. So I like the director of Jumper, and he was the guy who directed Swingers, the very first Swingers, and also the very first Jason Bourne movie. Um, he also directed a movie called Go, which is a great movie as well. And um, he's done some flops too here and there, but he also did Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever it's called, the Tom Cruise movie where he kept dying over and over again. And that was a great movie. And he does action some yes, he does car chases like no one else. If you wanna see one of the best car chase scenes that's just as good as the Jason Bourne one, go and watch the movie Go. It's the Las Vegas scene, and it's still the best car chase scene I've ever seen, uh, on screen, quite honestly. Edge of Tomorrow, yes, that's the other name of it. Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. I think it's gone by, like, 3 different names. Thanks, Agent Future. Yeah. It's a couple different names. So, um, and I just blanked on his name all of a sudden. Doug Liam. Doug Lehman. Doug Lehman. There we go. Yeah, Doug Lehman is a great director. Honestly, when they were talking about bringing people in and do some Star Wars stuff, I thought about he was actually signed up at one point. I think he was supposed to do one of the trilogies that they were talking about doing, then he stepped back and said, "Nope, I don't wanna deal with this shit." Yeah. Oh, did he direct 2 of the Impulse episodes? Well, I think he's an executive producer on it because I think he still has the rights to it, if I'm not mistaken, his production company. He does some good work. He does some really good work, and he knows how to do action movies. He really knows how to do action movies. If anything, I think he would be the direct successor to McTiernan, as a director. That's the kind of directing that he does, and he just does an awesome job of doing, action movies. Like I said, watch Go. You can skip through Go is actually a good movie, but the car chase scene in Vegas is the best car chase scene you will see in a long time on video. It's awesome. What else do I have here? I've got 2 more things left here. So I don't know if anyone caught this, but, Comcast released a commercial during, I believe, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, and they're also gonna release it again during the Super Bowl, but essentially it's ET2. So Comcast owns Universal, which of course owns the rights to ET. So they did a sequel to ET as a commercial, and it's a grown-up Elliot. They actually brought in, excuse me, Thomas to reprise his role as an adult Elliot in ET Returns to his house to basically spend the Thanksgiving weekend or the Christmas weekend or whatever it is with him and his kids and his wife. And I was sitting there watching this thing going, "Really? Really? You fuckers basically created a sequel to make a commercial for your shitty ass cable service. And was not really pleased about that, shall we say. I'd laugh at the stories. One introduces Eric Roberts' little sister Julia and questions if she'll ever be as big a name as. Oh, really? Yeah, I agree. Pen nostalgia. I'm actually sick of sequels that are done to 30, 40-year old movies. I understand they're aimed directly at me, the old fuck that I am, to go out and see these things, and I'm tired of them. I want to see new stuff. I've keep saying this until I'm blue in the face. There's a whole bunch of shit behind me in books and stuff like that that hasn't been used, that are good stories that would make excellent new movies, excellent new TV shows. Just fucking someone needs to take a chance on it. And yeah, I don't know. Great, they're gonna ruin ET now. Yeah, Sven, if you don't want to have it ruined, it's like a 4.5 minute spot that it's up on my Facebook page, by the way, and just not happy with it. Yeah, I agree with you, HR. There should be an expiration date for sequels. I mean, shit, if that's the case, Terminator was way past its due date. Really way past its due date on that. It's funny, the first time, like Deadpool Princess Bride spoof, but it gets overdone so quick. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it'll be the new normal with so few companies controlling entertainment industries. I agree with the Agent Future since yeah, we have so many libraries being bought out and being consolidated by big faceless corporations, and they decide that, oh, you know what? We're going to release this again. Someone actually had a really good idea. I believe it was my last SBO. Is why not just release the movie back out in theaters again that you want people to have nostalgia with and see if it makes any money. And then if they're, just go with that. That way you guys already own the movie. You're just making money off of it at that point. I don't think Terminator was a missed opportunity. I think Terminator was just a shit bomb waiting to happen because even Miller was saying this. He loves working with James Cameron as a person, but not as a boss. So James Cameron really kind of overshadowed everything he did. He micromanaged Tim Miller, is what happened. And so Miller did not get to make the movie that he wanted, and Cameron did not make the movie that he wanted because he was busy working on Avatars 2 through 18 while trying to micromanage this Terminator Dark Fate movie. When really he should have just gone and done Terminator Dark Fate and then done over, gone back over and done Avatars 2 through 85 that he's working on. Yeah. I know re-releasing old movies would make too much sense. I understand that. Stanley Trio says they are developing a Wheel of Time series and a Foundation series and others. So at some point we'll have new things, but well-known brands are so much easier marketing. Yeah, I understand. But the thing is, what is it they say about a friend is someone you just haven't met yet? A new friend, yeah, someone you just. I know it's cheesy and stuff like that. It's the same thing with TV shows and movies. Uh, just because something's fucking familiar doesn't mean you need to drive it into the ground. That's why we have episode 9 of The Rise of Skywalker coming out, and people don't really care about it. But this new thing, The Mandalorian, people are, ape shit about it right now. Same universe, but one is not focusing on the same family that's been focused on for the last 45 years. And the other one is. So there you go. Yeah, I agree with the Agent Future. James Cameron did the same thing with Robert Rodriguez with Battle Angel Alita. That's why you got a shitty movie out of it. It doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end. and it doesn't have a villain in it either. Their villain stays up in the clouds the entire time and just looks down menacingly and strokes his mustache. Mwahaha. That's all he does. I think the original Avatar lived up to the hype. Uh, oh, I didn't think the original Avatar. Yeah, exactly. I went and saw it because friends of mine were going to go and see it, and I remember sitting there just going, "Yeah, this movie sucks." A lot of movies I got dragged to by friends over the years, and yeah. No, it was Fern Gully in Space is what it was, Kato Run. Not Dance with Wolves, it was Fern Gully. And it wasn't even the good Fern Gully, it was Fern Gully 2. The Mandalorian Rise of Skywalker. No. Dances with Smurfs. I mean, come on, lazy writing when you have unobtainium. Unobtainium. Come on, really? Is it Mr. Roboto? Was Alita a success? Because I know it made money, but there's no word on a sequel because Robert Rodriguez wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to make any of it. Yes, Cameronium. Cameronium, I swear, is one of the best things that Future Man came up with. That whole James Cameron episode is just brilliant. It's a brilliant episode of TV. It really is. In the olden days of the major studio system, they used to routinely re-release movies all the time, 2, 5, 10 years later. Yeah, exactly. Movies from the 30s and 40s were released in the 60s and the 70s. Exactly. Why? Because they made all the money off them they were already going to make. This was just icing on top of the cake already. Uh, and I didn't get the joke for so long, but that is nothing new. Mando is probably from Tatooine, otherwise he wouldn't know about womp rats. No, womp rats are everywhere, Mark Maginot. Yeah, womp rats are everywhere. They're not just Tatooine, they're everywhere. Kind of like Jawas. Jawas are everywhere. Exactly. I was just about to say it. Thanks, Stanley. Yeah, because we've seen Jawas on other planets now. Yeah. Kato Roan says Captain Marvel made 3 times the amount of Alita in the box office, but yeah, Captain Marvel also cost 3 times more, I believe, than Alita did because Robert Rodriguez did all that stuff in house. He has his own studio, literally his own studio that he does special effects, all that kind of stuff. His studio is amazing, by the way. There is someplace out on YouTube a walkthrough of Robert Rodriguez's studio, and the shit that he has in this one, it's like an aircraft hangar that he does his stuff in, and it's amazing the stuff that he's got in there. And he does them for a fraction of the cost of a Hollywood movie. Are womp rats the same as rodents of incredible size? Sometimes. They're what? They're supposed to be like 2 meters across, I believe is what it is, 2 or 3 meters across. So they're big. Yeah. Because that was supposed to be the size of the port that he had to shoot into. Less than 2 meters in size. There we go. Wonder how Jawas drag around those huge carriers. I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and my final thing. So I found this kind of interesting since I do Mr. Robot. So Bitcoin fans had spotted a Mr. Robot Easter egg. It was when he was actually doing code up there, and they started sending Elliot their cryptocurrency. um, this was just a weird little story that so they said Elliot is coding his own Bitcoin mixer, is what it's called. And I'll read you this. It says eagle-eyed cryptocurrency fans spotted a Bitcoin address in USA Network's Mr. Robot and decided to start sending BTC. In the latest episode, vigilante hacker Elliot L. Anderson codes a program for cleaning coins with a crypto tumbler. Presumably, he's looking to steal some Bitcoin and wants to cash it out without being caught. And so they show us a screenshot of what was going on here, and it says Elliot's mixer is likely to make tracking Bitcoin more difficult, much like the popular BTC solution CoinJoin, which allows multiple users to shuffle coins with each other to hide their history. These programs have grown in popularity in response to the rise of analytic films like Ecliptic and Chainalysis over the past year. So it says Elliot has siphoned some Bitcoin already. So people have actually put some money into this, and it's actually siphoned out about $6,000 worth. Uh, they've made their own stuff. So actually, it's being used at some point in time here, which is kind of interesting. People haven't been putting that much money into it, so they've only been sending in like $2.20. But still, I thought it was interesting that people are actually sending in Bitcoin to this and are using it, and that this thing has been used as well. So, for those of you who know a little bit more about Bitcoin than I do, which is quite a bit more than I do, because I know nothing about Bitcoin, but I thought that was interesting. Obviously, everyone else doesn't. So. I saw another channel's Mr. Robot video that was all about the key. It's been featured all along, and I missed it. Even when the little girl, yeah, uh, she had mentioned that earlier on. Someone had mentioned that as well in the comments section of my video. Do you think the last name Mr. Anderson was chosen on purpose or a happy accident? Um, I don't know, EHR. He might have just opened up the phone book and just done it at random. Who knows? That's sometimes how you choose names. You know, the way you used to do it when you were a writer is you open up a phone book. If you didn't already have a name in mind, you open up a phone book and you at random and you just put your hand down and that's the name that you pick. Yeah. Let me tell you about blockchain. He was wearing a key in one episode also. Huh. Interesting. Anyone want to play the Stephen King drinking game? No. It's Alderson, yes. Not Anderson. Did I say Anderson? They might have gotten it wrong too. It's Alderson. Is what it is. Elliot Alderson. I mean, this was not the most reliable of sources, so let's see what they said here. Blah 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 blah. Uh, now I just lost my place where I was. Alderson, yeah, Elliot Alderson. Did I say Anderson? I might have, but no, Alderson is the name of the character. I know, but it's easy. It's an easy misheard leap to Anderson. No, I think he, you know, who knows? A Stephen King drinking game sounds deadly. Possibly. So that's all I got. What else do you guys have? Stuff that hopefully is not political in nature because, I honestly, I just don't give a shit about politics, quite honestly, when it comes to genre stuff. Yeah. That's all? Okay. Then that's it, I think. How's the media pass coming? I don't know. They're reviewing it, is what I've heard. That's all of the information I get. I don't hear anything other than that. They are a big conglomeration that is looking at my materials to see if I get a press pass or not. And then, of course, I have to pay for it afterwards. So I have to pay for Comic Con no matter what. Yes, in December 13th, of course, The Expanse comes out. Um, what else is coming out here? Uh, because I have it up on suspendedfanimation.com. Plug, plug, plug. Yeah. Um, here we go. Yeah, The Expanse, of course, December 13th on Amazon. Avenue 5 on HBO in January. I don't know when in January, but I'm going to be covering that as well. That's also on HBO. Project Blue Book on the History Channel season 2 is going to be January 21st, 2020. Definitely covering that. And Stargirl from DC Universe is supposedly starting in January at some time 2020. If Harley has 6 episodes, my guess is it will be we just had episode 1. So let me do the math here. Uh we've got there we go. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like January 10th is where we're gonna be at for Stargirl on that, from what it looks like. Probably somewhere around there, which I'm okay with. Oh, and the Vikings, spinoff at, Netflix is in trouble at the moment. Supposedly, there's another production company that, they've been having legal, dealings with, might hold up that production, the Valhalla Vikings one, so a German company. Thank you, Sven, yes. I wonder if Stargirl will be campy. Possibly, Sven, because it is gonna air on both the CW and on DC Universe at the same time. Yeah. So we'll see. It's probably gonna be campy. Although I love that the second episode is called Stripes. So for those of you who don't know who Stripe is the, robot, the gigantic robot that, fights crime with her or dispenses justice or whatever it is. I'm all for it. I'm happy to see. And, the JSA is gonna be in it and all that stuff, so that should be a lot of fun. Yeah. Clone Wars season that's right, Clone Wars season 7's coming out soon. Supposedly the Forgotten season. The whole thing with that, so Clone Wars season 7 was made. They hadn't completed everything on it, and then it got canceled. So that's why the rest of season 6 ended up on Netflix, not on Disney Plus or not Disney Plus, Disney XD like it was supposed to. And they said, "Oh, there is no season 7." Even though they had talked about it at Comic-Con, that there was a season 7. And they said, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. There was no season 7." And now they supposedly are going, "Oh, we're doing a new season, season 7." They actually had this already made. They just hadn't completed the rendering process on it. And that's what they did. They completed the rendering process. And if season 7 goes well, most likely from what I've been hearing that there's probably going to be more episodes of Clone Wars. So there we go. But I think The Mandalorian really took Disney by surprise as to how well it's received, and so they weren't expecting that at all, and, they are probably gonna have to, start rethinking how they're doing stuff. Yeah. The Germans are always planning something and listening in. Yeah. Actually, that theory's been out there for a long time. There are actually some people out there who were survivors of the Titanic sinking that said there was a ship that was off on the horizon that they could see that never came to help them, and it was not the other ship. So supposedly there was 3 ships in the area at the time. Uh, One that actually came after everything was said and done and picked up some of the survivors. One that never showed up that admitted to being in the area. Then there's a third phantom ship that was out there as well. So, do you dispense coffee and justice? No, I don't. I dispense neither. So, Yeah, but who knows? Because I mean, at the time, there was no radar, um, all that kind of stuff. So you can never really tell who knew what, when, and where, what was actually happening at the time. Ah, so what's going on? Tomorrow is going to be a doubleheader of Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Monday is going to be his Dark Materials. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm off. And Friday is going to be another doubleheader of The Mandalorian and Harley Quinn. Yeah, I got to figure out when Harley Quinn's going to be. It's going to be after The Mandalorian, of course. And of course, we come back around to Saturday with Saturday Morning Blast Off, or, what I just did here. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, the subscribe button as well down below. Excuse me. If you want to know when I'm be on again live, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you of when I'm on. You can go to the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. If you really want to know when to be on, just go to suspendedfanimation.com, like Penn has put up there in the chat, and take a look at my schedule there. It's updated once a week. I also have that schedule up on my Facebook page. Speaking of Facebook, there is a Facebook group where you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon, but there are no tiers on the Patreon as of yet. There will be at the end of this year, beginning of next year. Yes, 3 days off in a row. My God. That's because they're lumping all these shows together on the same nights, and then there's a dearth of programming in the middle of the week. Yeah, if they actually put some stuff on like Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and spread the love out just a little bit, I would do them then, but they're not. I may even do another Is It Worth My Time for the animated movie that's on Netflix called Klaus. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that this week. I might pop that in on Wednesday just because, it's been a while since I've done an Is It Worth My Time? And that's actually been one of my favorite segments that I did. It's an easy segment to kind of pop in, and it doesn't have a set format. Yeah, yeah. So, with that said, I was just going to ask, is there about a special? Is it worth my time? Yes, there is. There is a special. Is it worth my time? And yeah. With that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the day. Thank you, everybody who joined me today in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. By the way, if you're still on the fence about joining up, at the very end of this video, there's going to be a video that pops up here that takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as much as possible to one video in my vast video library, and they put it up there for you. Also, up here is going to be, let's say, I'll put the Mandalorian up there this time around. So thank you, everybody. Have a good day or good rest of your day. And until tomorrow, I'll see you then. And otherwise, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Or I might end up putting you on timeout for talking politics and shit in my chat, which I'm just kind of over with. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. Have a good rest of your week. End.